Imagine a reality where the power to transform your circumstances lies not in external factors, but within your grasp. Think about those times when frustration peaks behind the wheel, or when an unexpected interaction tests your patience. It's easy to assign fault elsewhere, absolving ourselves of responsibility. But what if accountability held the key to unlocking a better path forward? How often do you find yourself blaming other people or circumstances for the negative things that happen in your life? Oh, that driver in front of you, cruising at a snail's pace, turning your commute into a slow motion drama. Is he really your sworn enemy? The reason you're late for work? Sure, you could totally play that card. But let's talk about a more exhilarating game changer: owning your lateness. We're all players in the blame game. It's convenient to lay the responsibility of our setbacks on someone else, rather than examining your own role. Yet the path of self-blame is often one worth taking. Assigning fault on others may seem like it's an easy way out, as if the circumstances were beyond our influence from the very start. It's our way of rationalizing something that we would have liked to have had a different outcome on. When you accept fault, it's a way for you to acknowledge that if you had done something different, you could have changed that outcome. Blaming others is one way we stop ourselves from change, staying comfy in the familiar. Now, it's come to my attention that almost 80% of my viewers are unsubscribed. I can try to make changes to adjust accordingly, but wouldn't it be more fun if I just blamed you guys? With that being said, if I can get to 250 subscribers by October 15th, I'll do a special Q&A video where I answer questions from you guys. The reality is that the circumstances in our lives won't change, not unless we're willing to be the change. Now, here's a little humor for thought. While we're great at pinning external circumstances on others, we're also pros at blaming others for things that, well, we have complete control over. Do you guys have any guesses as to what that may be? Drum roll, please. It's our emotions. When your boss took his anger out on you for something that was out of your control, how did that make you feel? Angry? Upset? Worthless? Think back to a time someone was rude or inconsiderate toward you and how your emotional state was affected after. While it's valid to feel negative emotions from the trials that we face, from the trivial to the significant, it's how we respond to that feeling that matters most. Our response is the thing that we have control over 100% of the time. It's okay to feel bothered by an interaction that you've had with somebody. Yet the error that we often fall into is fixating on that emotion, giving it significance. When we do this, we give external forces power over us. When we let others and circumstances govern our feelings, we relinquish control over everything we can influence. Accepting fault for the negative circumstances in our lives is a way for us to take back control. It might sound contradictory, but taking accountability actually has a big role in boosting our self-confidence. When you take responsibility for the successes and the failures in your life, this recognition demonstrates maturity and self-awareness, and in turn actually helps us to boost our self-esteem and confidence. Just because you acknowledge your fault in something doesn't mean that it can't be fixed. To the contrary, this is actually what helps you to resolve issues. There is a level of authenticity that naturally occurs as a byproduct from accepting accountability. You aren't pretending to be perfect. Instead, you're embracing your imperfections and learning from them. This genuine self-presentation enhances your self-worth. As you strive to do better and learn from experiences, you're actively investing in your personal development, which fuels self-assurance from within. By recognizing that your actions directly influence outcomes, you are empowering yourself to make a difference with positive changes. As stated in Mark Manson's book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving Up, years ago, when I was much younger and stupider, I wrote a blog post and at the end of it said something like, "And as a great philosopher once said, with great power comes great responsibility." It sounded nice and authoritative. I had forgotten who had said it. Google turned up nothing, but I stuck it in there anyway. It fit the post nicely. About 10 minutes later, the first comment came in. I think the great philosopher you're referring to is Uncle Ben from the movie Spider-Man. We've all heard the quote. It gets repeated a lot, usually ironically and after about 7 beers. It's one of those perfect quotes that sounds really intelligent, but it's basically just telling you what you already know, even if you've never quite thought about it before. It is true, but there's a better version of this quote, a version that actually is profound, and all you have to do is switch the nouns around. With great responsibility comes great power. The more we choose to accept responsibility for in our lives, the more power we will exercise over our lives. Accepting responsibility for our problems is the first step to solving them. By the way, if you haven't read that book, I highly recommend checking it out. Or if you prefer audiobooks, I'm pretty sure it's free on YouTube. In any case, by accepting responsibility, we don't only shoulder the weight of our actions, we hold the power to shape our own destinies. This journey isn't about casting judgment upon ourselves, but about embracing both growth and authenticity. It's about acknowledging that the very act of taking responsibility that fuels our self-assurance and kindles the flames of positive change. Step forward with courage, knowing that our choices and responses pave the path for a more empowered future. Everyone that's watching these videos, I do truly appreciate it. It means a lot to me, and I love hearing from you guys that you love this content and that it's helping you. It really means the world to me, and it's what keeps me going and doing this. If there's anything I can do for anybody, seriously, leave a comment. You can email my personal email if you're having problems with something. I like to help people, and to get more personal with people would be awesome, and my subscriber base, it would be great. So reach out to me, and yeah, thank you guys.